What's up, guys, and welcome to the second PFCFL draft recap of our second season. So, today we're with a new player whose name is Jacob Kent. He's from the UK, so Jacob's with me on Skype.
Hello.
So, Jacob is the head coach of the Carlisle Goodras. In the season 1, he did not play. As I said, he's a new player, so he didn't get any kills or any deaths. In the season 2, he's going to be part of the Ho and West Conference. So, first of all, I'll let Jacob introduce himself. So, what's your background in Pokemon gaming, and why did you join the league?
Right. Well, I've been playing Pokemon ever since Ruby and Sapphire, and Diamond, Pearl, Platinum was easily my favorite of the lot, favorite generation. And recently in Oras, I started looking into the more competitive side. Before that, it had always been fun gaming and just playing through by myself, really. But since I've been in a competitive play since since I got Oras, Omega Ruby, and I've really loved just these leagues. Just watching, I've watched I've always wanted to be part of one of these large leagues around and be a part of the action. It's always seemed so fun and.
Okay, so that's good. So, now that you introduce a little bit of your Pokemon background and the reason you're here, once you're here, you have to go through a draft. So I'll let you go to all your 12 Pokemon. So there's 3 of each tier, as everybody knows. So first of all is Mega Charizard X.
Yeah, well, Megazord's X was it's a fallback option, as it's a very durable, not durable, all ductile. It can work around a lot of roles. It's not just it can be very defensive and offensive, and it can play both at the same time. It doesn't just run a set for defense or offense. So I love how I can work them on around a large variety of teams. It doesn't have to just fit into one type of team. And also, a lot of teams can work around it the other way around. So I just love how he's got a lot of offensive force, and he can be a very potent threat on the field, especially if he gets some buffs up, maybe a Dragon Dance. He can sweep quite effectively.
Alright, so that's your Mega, and we see a little pattern here developing. You have 3 Dragon types, your mascot's a Dragon type, and I think you got a big liking for your second Pokemon, which is Goodra.
Yes, I do. Goodra has, Goodras, even before I found out how I could use and how well Goodra could be used competitively, Goodra was my favourite mon. Ever since I really found out about it, I started off with a Goomy Egg that I got off a random trader, and ever since then I've loved Goodra. And I've loved how, like with Charizard, it can be used in so many different ways. Not all at once, per se, but how you can run it physically offensive, especially offensive, complete bulk defense. And Goodra, it's a big goo dragon. It's just looks so lovable. And it can dominate the battlefield given the chance.
Alright, so your third Pokemon was your first RU Pokemon, which is Drapion. I think it's something that many teams wanted, but you were lucky enough to get your hands on it.
Yeah, Drapion actually is quite an interesting one for me. I use Drapion in a way that apparently, or at least it's not recognized anywhere I've found. I've never found any sets on Smogon that run like it. I run often Sniper set on it.
Yeah.
Because of people don't tend to use like Sniper apparently on it for the crit look Drapion, because it's only 75% chance or so for a crit. I'm not sure on the exact total, but
it's over 50%.
I like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over 50% with Cross Poison and Night Slash, and it can do so much damage. But a lot of the time, people don't expect it when they see Drapion. Apparently, I've never actually ran this myself, but I might in this league. But defensive Drapion for Toxic Spikes, and it also, having it in the draft, gives me the opportunity to have hazards like Toxic Spikes on the field.
Yep.
but it can also very effectively spring a surprise high offense on anyone who is expecting a setup.
Alright. So first Enumon, there's another pattern on your team. You seem to like golems a lot, and you started your NU tier with the first of the three.
Yes, Regirock. Regirock's definitely my favorite. Well, it's my favorite trio, legendary trio of the Reggies.
Okay.
But I started off with Regirock just as with no intention of actually getting the others. For the Stealth Rock's potential and the sheer bulk it has. With access to moves that take advantage of its high defense, say counter, the ability to take a high attack, switch into a high attack, maybe on something that's banded, or even scarfed, and it can just take hits and lay hazards and deal a lot of damage back. Because 100 attacks, it's not huge, but it's still enough to do a lot of damage.
Yeah. So after the first set of 4 rounds was done, the order was flipped around, and you were lucky enough. I'd say lucky because many people were looking forward to draft it. You were able to pick up Scizor.
I was, yes. Scizzor's I'm definitely happy I managed to get Scizor. I saw Mega Scizor was swift to go, and that's not surprising. I didn't want Mega Scizor myself because, Scizor can do a lot that Mega Scizor can, just not as good. It's like a medium fries and a large fries. You've got Scizor can still do the job of being extremely hard hitting, and when it's not mega'd, I think it has more options in a way.
Yeah, with items, multiple items instead of being forced to use a Scissorite. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly, yeah, and its 4 times fire weakness is definitely something I've considered, but with Pokemon on my team such as Goodra and Charizard X that don't really care about fire type attacks, I don't think I need to worry about that too much. And it also has access to the fog, which can be quite useful if need be.
Yeah, especially with having a Charizard on your team. Mega Charizard X is Dragon and Fire, so it's not weak. It's not 4 times weak to rocks. Sorry, but if it's not a Mega yet, it can take some heavy damage from rocks. So it's a good thing to have it on.
It can.
Yeah.
They form a very good core together.
Yeah. So then the second UU Pokemon you drafted was Espeon.
Yes. Preferably, I would have gotten Vaporeon in all honesty, but that was taken early on. That wasn't surprising, but I wasn't too put off by that. And Espeon with the with both Synchronize and other abilities that it can be really good to redirect hazards as a hazard redirection. And also it's got a fairly good special attack because 130s can deal some decent damage with a lot of the special attacks it's got. I know Dazzling Gleam's one. I can't remember other fairy moves for the life of me. For dragons, which my team does have a bit of a weakness to, and Magic Bounce also means that I don't need to worry too much about my opponents setting rocks if I can predict them or other hazards.
Yeah.
So it can be quite useful as a utility Pokemon on the team.
Yeah, and it can dish out some damage, so it's a good pick.
Yeah.
Second Oriumon was Togetic, so you're getting full bulk mode.
Yeah, Togetic. Well, in all honesty, Togetic was it was one of the Pokemon that I'd never really looked at in any format until I was looking down RU, seeing what I could fish out, and I realized that I could really do with a fairy. Just it's diverse typing, and it does hit a lot of types, particularly fighting, and again dragon, that my team does have a slight weakness to. overall.
Yeah. Okay, so second Enumon is your second golem also. Ice isn't a very good typing in competitive because it's a very it's probably the worst defensive type, but with some bulk like Regice, you got nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, Regice can be run in a lot of ways, really. Some more select than others. Like, you don't have to. People see Regice, just because it's got 200 special defense doesn't mean it has to be a bulky Pokemon. Like with Goodra can be, it's just natural bulk that's there to be used. And you can run offensive Regice, and its normal defense isn't terrible. Not completely terrible. And so it can still sit there and counter a lot of things that aren't built for countering something with 200 special defense.
Yeah.
So I think definitely running some utility moves, like even just something like Ice Beam for general coverage on it and Stab, can ruin a lot of Pokemon that don't have the ability to deal with Regice right away, and it can often force out or be used to bring in Pokemon that you can deal with more effectively with the rest of your team.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good logic. I was very like looking forward to your explanation, but I think you've second thought everything, so that's good. I like how you think when you draft some Pokemon that don't that like not many people would take the risk to draft. That's interesting. So another Pokemon that not a lot of players would have drafted because it's like it's not very people aren't used to it, both uh, facing it and using it. But Hoopa Unbound can be a key if you want to go far.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I hadn't. I wouldn't say I had dislike for Hooper. Just more of a I don't want to look at it kind of feeling because it's new. I don't know what to do with it. But during drafting, as I was watching the OU picks go and drop and vanish away, I did look at it and I looked at its stats and I went, "Wow,
Why not?
why not? Why not?" With the attack and special attack that it has, there's not much that wants to sit in front of it and get hit. It has admittedly poor defense and speed, but with a variety of either items or just move choices or general predictions of what my opponent's going to do, I can get around that more or less in any way. And with an attack and special attack as shockingly high as it does, I can run mixed sets or specific sets, especially with an item such as Assault Vest.
So
Because I don't think it needs too much in the way of protective moves.
yeah. Okay, sorry for
Sorry, no,
interrupting you.
that's it.
I thought you were done. But
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Another Pokemon that can very easily be run both specially and physically is Kyurem.
Yeah, Kyurem. I'm slightly rueful about Kyurem. It's a very good Pokemon. It can be run, as you said, like physically and specially. Not so much bulk-wise, and it does get a lot of good special coverage moves. It doesn't get as many physical moves to run a full physical set, but for a mixed set, it can be exploited, like how it works. I'm not a fan of its typing after looking at the rest of my team. I don't think I put the largest amount of consideration into Kyurem, but he definitely has a nice niche in that he can be, with his move pool, he can be used in a few ways that can often counter when I'm looking at what my opponent's draft is for the following weeks that are coming up. I can often identify things that Kyurem might be able to deal with that other members of my team can't. So he does fit a nice niche in that he fills out the gap that the rest of my team leaves empty.
All right. So after Kyurem, you drafted the third and last of the Reggie trio, Registeel. Well,
Yes.
In fact, you didn't draft it; you traded for it. That's
I
right
did,
there.
yes. Yes. Originally it was Bronzong, and after a bit of thought, I ended up swapping it out for Registeel. Purely because Registeel has with it all-round bulk, it can be thrown in when my team just needs a general beef up. Whenever I maybe choose Pokemon for my team that aren't as capable of taking hits as I'd like, Registeel with a pure Steel typing can be really, really effective at just flat-out walling most Pokemon. It can be an effective staller if I need it to be. I'm not a huge fan of stall, but it can do that well. With 150 defense and special defense, at least off the top of my head, that's what I think it has.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah, and access to Toxic and Seismic Toss as well, just when its attack doesn't quite cut it. It can really just... There's not a whole lot that can deal with it, and if there is something that can deal with it, then I'll have a switch into that. Registeel can normally, I'd say maybe 3 out of 4 times.
Wall it out.
Yeah.
Alright, so your last Pokemon was Claydol.
It was, yes. After looking at Bronzong, I'd already identified that I wanted to make the trade for Registeel before I picked Claydol. More or less after I chose Bronzong, because I decided that Claydol would do what I wanted Bronzong to do for the team, just a bit better, because it wasn't neutral to fighting, it resisted it instead. The stats aren't as beefed up as Bronzong's are all round, but it still gets access to, because for example in my team I can run slow mons and fast mons dependent on who my opponent is, with utility moves like Trick Room, and I'm fairly sure it gets Rapid Spin.
Yep.
So I can basically fill in roles in my team to adapt to my opponent's, or what I assume is going to be my opponent's style of play, which is more or less what Bronzong was going to do. It can just, it's basically its a utility role in my team, with a decent all-round defense.
Okay, so that's it for your 12 Pokemon. So during the draft, did you have any surprise or deception, like something that you really wanted but couldn't pick, or something that you never thought you could pick and was able to?
Right, I'm gonna have a quick look at the draft for this. Well, Mega Metagross.
Well, it was obviously number 1 or 2, or in the worst case scenario, number 3.
Mega Metagross was what I was wanting straight off the bat, and that went first choice gone. I was like, I can't say that I wasn't disappointed to see Mega Metagross go so quickly. But Mega Charizard X, I think, is still going to fill in a very strong role in the team with its durability and its offenses. The only downside I can think to Charizard X over Metagross is its Dragon typing.
Any surprises? Something that you didn't expect to pick and was able to?
I think Scizor. I expected Scizor to go a lot earlier than second draft. I expected it to be in the first draft.
All right.
With Mega Scizor.
Yeah, in the first OU round, I think I expected that to go earlier too. You have Pokemons like Superior and Conkeldurr and Thundurus that I thought would go in the second round, and maybe Scizor would be in the first round. But anyways, Breloom too is a very surprising Pokemon to see in the first round.
And Hooper Unbound, after looking at his stats, I'm surprised nobody else nabbed him.
I think, as I said, people are maybe a little afraid to use something they don't perfectly know. So I kind of understand, even though you took a good risk with it. So when you look at your division, so you are with Kalamazoo, so that's Chris Smith. You're with Toronto, so that's Ellis, and you're with Arizona, so that's Damien. Where do you see yourself against them?
Oof. Well, looking at their teams overall, and just look altogether, I think it's going to be very interesting. There's a lot of things that scare me about them as in that I would find unpleasant to go against. And there's a lot of things that I think that there's a lot of. Oh, I'm trying to find the word. It's lost me. So they have mons that work around a lot of different roles, so it's going to be a guessing game, I think, with how they work. And particularly with Arizona Mighty Hyenas, it's going to be interesting to see how they play out and how they fare against other teams as well, because I expect those to go quite far.
Yeah, well,
in honesty.
Well, Damien has the advantage of knowing the league since he was there in season 1.
Yeah.
He's the only one. Yeah, he's the only one in the division that was there on the first season. So it's pretty much the same rules with a few changes. We'll make a video about rule changes, by the way. So, to you guys who are who are watching our videos but don't follow the league from the inside, you will be able to understand what's different this season. So Damien is part of the admin group, so he knows the details and of the new rules and stuff like that a little better, and he can adapt easily. So he had a strong draft. I'd say I agree with you. He's probably the one to watch in your division, but you all have some very good teams that like. I wouldn't bet a lot on who would win in this division, honestly.
Oh, I'm not saying he'd win. I'm just saying that it'd be interesting to see how far he goes in comparison to the rest.
Yeah. Okay, so last question is, what are your personal objectives for this season? Is it like to get a certain amount of kills just to have fun, or to win it all, or to win X number of games, or anything?
My objectives this season is actually to end up with some surprising outcomes. To go into a game with maybe an idea of what might be happening, or to go into all my games with an idea of what will be happening, and see. And I'm hoping to have some battles that play out really interestingly, completely different from what I expect.
Okay.
Win or lose.
Okay, so basically you're just there to experience different type of battling and just have fun.
Yeah, and the more I win, well, that's a bonus.
All right. So that's it for this second PFCFL Season 2 draft recap. Thanks a lot, Jacob, for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and on Twitch. If you want to follow the PFCFL from the inside, the link to the group will be in the description below. Also, please visit our friends at Pokétown. The link is in the picture and will be in the comments, so you can see the bottom right of your screen, facebook.com/group/Pokétown. So please go visit them. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.